Mastering communication. Break barriers. Like a pro. We all know communication is important. It's the foundation of our relationships, our businesses, our society. When we communicate effectively, we build trust, we solve problems, we create opportunities. But what happens when communication breaks down? What happens when the message gets lost in translation, when our words fall on deaf ears, when our intentions are misunderstood? We've all been there. We've all experienced the frustration, the confusion, the conflict that can arise from poor communication. But here's the thing, communication doesn't have to be a game of chance. It's not about luck, it's about understanding. Understanding the barriers that get in the way of effective communication and understanding the strategies we can use to overcome them. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the world of communication. We're going to explore the common barriers that trip us up, and more importantly, we're going to equip you with the tools and strategies you need to break through those barriers and become a true communication master. The invisible wall, conquering physical barriers. Let's start with the most tangible barriers to communication, the physical ones. Think about a time when you tried to have a conversation in a noisy room, or with someone far away, or with a giant wall separating you. It's hard, right? These physical barriers, the noise, the distance, the physical obstacles, they create a literal gap between us and the person we're trying to communicate with. And it's not just about our ability to hear or see each other. Physical barriers can also impact our energy levels, our focus, our overall ability to engage in a meaningful way. But here's the good news. We can often control, or at least influence, our physical environment. We can choose the right space for a conversation. We can use technology to bridge distances. We can optimize our surroundings to minimize distractions. By addressing these physical barriers, we create a more conducive environment for clear, effective communication to flourish. The unspoken words, navigating psychological barriers. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk about the barriers we carry within ourselves, the psychological barriers. These are the thoughts, the feelings, the assumptions, the biases that color our perceptions and influence how we communicate and interpret the communications of others. Imagine trying to have a conversation with someone when you're stressed or angry or preoccupied. It's tough to listen attentively, to choose our words carefully, to be fully present in the conversation. Our emotions, our state of mind, they act as filters, distorting the message before it even reaches our conscious thought. The key here is self-awareness. By understanding our own psychological landscape, by recognizing how our emotions and biases influence our communication, we can start to manage those internal barriers more effectively. And when we do that, we open ourselves up to deeper, more empathetic, and ultimately more productive communication. Lost in translation, bridging language barriers. We live in a world of incredible diversity, a world with a rich tapestry of languages, dialects, and accents. And while this diversity is something to be celebrated, it can also present challenges when it comes to communication. Have you ever tried to have a conversation with someone who doesn't speak your language, or struggled to keep up with technical jargon or a thick accent? Language barriers can make us feel lost, confused, or even excluded. But just like the other barriers we've discussed, language barriers can be overcome. It starts with a willingness to be patient, to be understanding, and to meet each other halfway. We can use simpler language, avoiding technical terms and jargon. We can use visual aids, like diagrams or pictures, to support our words. And most importantly, we can approach these situations with a spirit of curiosity and respect, remembering that communication is about connection, not just words. Chapter 4. Different lenses, embracing cultural differences. Our culture shapes us. It influences our values, our beliefs, our behaviors, and yes, even our communication styles. What's considered polite in one culture might be considered rude in another. A simple gesture, like a thumbs up, can have vastly different meanings around the world. When we're unaware of these cultural differences, when we fail to recognize that other people see the world through a different lens, miscommunication and misunderstandings are almost inevitable. But here's the beauty of it. Cultural differences, while they can be challenging, also offer incredible opportunities for growth and connection. By embracing cultural diversity, by making the effort to understand and appreciate different perspectives, we expand our own worldview. We become more empathetic, more adaptable, more effective communicators, in an increasingly interconnected world. Chapter 5. Seeing is not believing, challenging perceptual barriers. We all see the world through our own unique lens, shaped by our experiences, our beliefs, our values, and sometimes those perceptions, those internal filters, can create barriers to effective communication. We might misinterpret someone's words, make assumptions about their intentions, or jump to conclusions based on incomplete information. These perceptual barriers can lead to misunderstandings, conflicts, and missed opportunities. But the good news is we can challenge our perceptions. We can become more aware of our own biases, more open to different viewpoints, more willing to seek clarification when we are unsure. Effective communication requires us to step outside of our own heads, to see the world through the eyes of others, and to approach each interaction with a spirit of curiosity and open-mindedness. Chapter 6. Breaking down silos, overcoming organizational barriers. Finally, let's talk about the barriers that exist within our organizations, the structural and hierarchical obstacles that can impede the flow of information and stifle effective communication. Think about complicated approval processes, information silos, a lack of transparency, a culture of fear that discourages open feedback. These organizational barriers can create a sense of disconnect, leading to frustration, confusion, and ultimately a less productive and less fulfilling work environment. But just like the other barriers we've discussed, organizational barriers can be overcome. It starts with a commitment to transparency, to open communication, to creating a culture where feedback is valued and everyone feels heard. By breaking down these silos, by fostering an environment of trust and collaboration, organizations can unlock the true potential of their people and achieve remarkable things. Mastering communication, your journey starts now. As we've explored throughout this video, communication is about so much more than just words. It's about understanding, empathy, and a willingness to bridge the gaps that inevitably arise in our interactions with others. By understanding the common barriers that hinder effective communication, and by implementing the strategies we've discussed, we can all become more effective communicators, both in our personal and professional lives. Overcoming these barriers won't happen overnight. It takes conscious effort, a commitment to personal growth, and a genuine desire to connect with the people around us. But the rewards are well worth the effort. Start applying these strategies today. Challenge yourself to be more present, more empathetic, more open in your communication. And watch as your relationships, your work, and your life are transformed by the power of human connection.